Hi guys, and welcome to the Game Beans. I'm AlphaXX, and today we're doing another Warlock guide, this time on multi-targeting. So this time I'm going to be doing dual targeting and triple targeting, but when the mobs are spread away. So none of the mobs will be sitting next to each other so you can cleave them. So all mobs will be separate positions and far away so that you can't cleave them. So let's get it started then. So the spec we're going to be running with is 61 Warlock, 6 Harbinger and 9 Necro, the same spec that I use in the single target rotation DPS on the other Warlock video, which will be in the description below, so make sure you check out that if you haven't yet. And the single target rotation that was used in the 61 Warlock single target is going to be used exactly the same in this one. So if you haven't checked out the video, check it out. It explains what this graph means, just if you watched it, and let's go into the macros then. So for the macros, you're going to need 5, or you might not need 5, but it's however you want to do it. So the first one at the top left hand corner, Salvage Corruption, you need that one for focus target if you're doing dual targeting, so it's easier for you to refresh the dots on it. And there's another one which is for X mark, which will be easier to use for when you do triple targeting, but you can both have them, that one as well as mark X as well, so you can have your second and third target as mark 1 and 2 or whatever you want. You're going to want Death's Door as a focus, because this is going to be when you use dual targeting. You can't use Death's Door when triple targeting, and I'll explain why later. And also you're going to need Blazing Light on mark X and focus target also, but also you can change it to mark, the other one to markers too, so you can have it on mark 1 and mark 2 to make it easier. But there's going to be a lot of different kind of things which is going to be quite mind-boggle as we go along. And just quickly before we go into dual targeting starting rotation, just going to say a few things. You want to have your secondary target that you're not going to be looking at the full time in DPS in your single target rotation as your focus, so that you can refresh the dots on it with the at focus Salvage Corruption macro, and also that you can put Blazing Light on with the at Blazing Light focus macro too. You also want to make sure that you use the priority as a single target rotation, and you also want to make sure that the refreshing is pretty much at the top for the other one too. But when it comes to Blazing Light, you want to put Blazing Light on your primary target first, and then secondary put it onto the other target. And lastly, make sure that when you use Void Barrage, that you're going to have enough time to refresh your dots after you've cast it. If not, you want to refresh it before, even if it's going to lose an extra dot time or whatever. Just make sure that you will not let your dots fall off on your other mob when Void Barrage is up. For the first starting rotation, you want to put on your secondary target, so your focus target, you want to start off with Life Leech, Antiphony, Necrosis, Defile and Dark Touch. But this time, as soon as you're done putting your dots up, you want to use Salvage Corruption and Deathly Pall. Why do you want to do this? Well, you want to do this so it refreshes all your dots, and Defile, which is mainly the reason why you do it, so that you can put Defile on another mob. This means that you can now have 2 Defiles running at the same time, and it means your charge will start to run down slower or faster because you've got 2 Defiles up, but it means you do more DPS, which is also awesome. So make sure that you do that so you get 2 Defiles running at the same time. So the second way of doing it, you want to put dual summon before the fight. You want to put Life Leech, Antiphony, Necrosis, Defile and Dark Touch on that person. Then you want to establish Corruption so that you put it on yourself, and as soon as you're just about to start, you're going to put at focus Salvage Corruption or Deathly Pall one, and you put it straight onto your focus target, and then you start doing your single target rotation on your primary one. This means that you also start off with Defile as well on both targets, but it means that you get your dots on your other you start your single target rotation much quicker because you've already put your dots on straight away onto your secondary target. So when it comes to using Death's Door, you want to use the Death's Door at focused macro first, so that you put your Death's Door on the secondary target that you're never going to look at ever. Why do you want to put it on that one first? Well, you're going to put it on that one first because you're going to keep Death's Door on that mob at all times. Death's Door only lasts 8 seconds. So you're going to use the at focus Salvage Corruption macro pretty much 24/7, or not 24/7, well every at least 7 seconds maximum, so that you always keep Death's Door on that target. Then you want to do your normal rotation still on the target that you're DPSing first, but make Death's Door rotation wise, which kind of gets a bit hard because then you've got to make sure that your Death's Door doesn't fall off on the other mob, which is then the challenge, and make sure that you also refresh it before use Void Barrage so that it doesn't fall off in between. So then it starts to get a little bit harder, make sure you're using blazing light on both targets as well. So this is purely dots and refreshing the other, refreshing one, putting dots on both. So it kind of gets pretty hard. So now let's go into triple target, which it gets pretty insane. So how you start off with triple target DPS is you want to use Deathly Pall on your focus target, which is already pre-stack your dots on by drawing at the start of a fight. Then you want to go straight into second target, which is going to be the target you're never going to see at all, and it's going to be mark number 8 for me. Put your death dots on, and then you would cast Salvage Corruption and Deathly Pall to refresh it, to make sure that your dots, always make sure that you've got an extra defile on that. Then you're going to go straight into your primary target that you're going to have targeted at all times, and start putting your death dots on that. While you're doing that, your focus target dot will nearly fall off, so you need to refresh that before you use Void Barrage, and then you'll carry on with your single target rotation. This spec gets this situation gets incredibly insane because the amount of times that you have to refresh the focus target and mark number 8, the target you cannot see, the third target. Because you cannot see this target with Carol Alert, and I don't know if you can see it with any other add-on. If you can, that would be really great. At the moment, you're going to have to literally use macro Salvage Corruption and Deathly Pall as soon as it comes off cooldown, but switching between at focus and at mark so that it never falls off. You would use this triple target in this situation on the Egg Tenders fight, probably in Plainmaker Bastion. I can't really think of any other place you would use it apart from there at this current moment in time. So that would be a great place to use this. But you also want to make sure that you use Blazing Light on your focus and your normal target. You can't use it on Mark 8, but you cannot see when it's going to fall off cooldown because you cannot see, obviously, the dot timings on that one. So it comes pretty insane of refreshing that. You cannot use Death's Door because of you using Salvage Corruption and Deathly Pall on refreshing your focus on number 8. You could use Radiant Death and then put Death's Door on one of your targets every so often, but to be honest, it isn't really going to work that well, seeing as of the timings it works. So you can't really do that either. So that I've been LPX on the Game Beans. That's been triple target and dual target DPS. Triple target is pretty insane. And thanks for watching. See you later. And the next video, quickly before I go, is going to be on cleaving and AoE with Warlock specs. See you later.